When people talk about the birth of hip-hop, they mention Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash, Afrika Bambaataa, but the record that first put rap on wax, that came from Sylvia Robinson, a 43-year-old singer turned producer turned label boss. She wasn't a DJ or an MC, but her instinct helped shape two of the most important records in hip-hop history, Rapper's Delight and The Message. To understand how she got there though, we need to take it back to the very beginning of her career. Sylvia Vanterpool was born in Harlem in 1935, the youngest daughter of immigrants from the Virgin Islands. In the 40s and 50s, Harlem was filled with music, gospel in churches, jazz in clubs, and rhythm and blues on the radio. As a teenager surrounded by music, including an older sister who had already become a successful opera singer, it was almost inevitable that she was going to follow a similar path. As she later recalled, "I was singing since I was about 11 or 12 years old. I used to go under the name Little Sylvia and would take weekends away from school to do the review shows." By her teens, Sylvia was torn between steady work and chasing music. Then she met Joe Robinson, who steered her firmly towards singing.
I wanted to be a nurse, but I just gotten out of high school and I met Joe and he turned my mind around. He said, "No, you can make more money singing." And so I went into singing instead of nursing.
With Joe's encouragement, Sylvia doubled down on music. Under the name Little Sylvia, she cut her first track in 1950, Chocolate Candy Blues, alongside jazz trumpeter Hot Lips Page.
Chocolate, 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 candy's everywhere.
And followed it with singles like Drive Daddy Drive and How Long Must I Be Blue. Around this time, she also began guitar lessons with respected New York session player Mickey Baker, a partnership that would soon change both of their lives.
Sylvia was a guitar student of mine. At the time, there was Mary Ford and Les Paul. The music was very nice, but they couldn't perform it on stage. So I said, we'd take the two guitars and we'll figure out a way to make Mickey and Sylvia and do it on stage.
That act, Mickey and Sylvia, officially formed in 1955, a mix of guitar-driven R&B. Over the next couple of years, they released a few tracks like No Good Lover and I'm So Glad, that were regional hits but didn't really garner any mainstream attention. Whilst touring on the R&B circuit, Sylvia saw Bo Diddley perform a call and response routine at the Howard Theatre. She told him it could be a hit, but when his label dismissed it, she got his blessing to rework it. The result was Love Is Strange, their breakout single.
Love is strange.
That song, Love Is Strange, it was her inspiration that made me record that song in the first place. She has a nose or an ear for what's popular, though.
Sylvia's instincts were already clear. She knew when something had hit potential, even when others dismissed it. And those producer instincts only sharpened. In the early 60s, while still performing, she wrote and arranged It's Gonna Work Out Fine for Ike and Tina Turner.
Oh, darling, yes, I think it's gonna work out fine.
But like many women in the business, her name was left off the credits. As she later recalled, "I paid for the session, taught Tina the song, and that's me playing guitar." It was a huge hit, earning Ike and Tina their first Grammy nomination. By her mid-20s, Sylvia had already lived a full career. Singer, guitarist, songwriter, and producer, but she was already looking towards something bigger. By the late 60s, Sylvia was ready to move from performer to behind the scenes. Alongside her husband, Joe Robinson, she founded All Platinum Records out of Englewood, New Jersey. From a converted house, All Platinum grew into a self-contained label with its own studio and in-house team of musicians, songwriters, and producers.
We have 2 studios now, which gives the producers their chance to get into the studios when they want to. They come in at night, work all night if they care to, and we have a mastering room.
The label quickly found success with soulful vocal groups, most notably The Moments. Sylvia wasn't just behind the scenes though. In 1973, she staged a comeback of her own with the Sultry Pillow Tour.
I had no plans of doing it myself. I took it to Al Green and Willie Mitchell, and it was a bit too sexy for Al.
The track hit #1 on the R&B chart and top 5 on the pop chart, a bold, provocative record that cemented Sylvia's reputation as someone ahead of her time. Even a casual phone call could spark Sylvia's instincts. While on the phone to the Playboy Mansion, She was struck by the voice of the receptionist on the other end. As she later stated in an interview, "I thought her voice would be perfect for this track I'd been thinking of, so I had her come over." That receptionist was Shirley Goodman, and together they recorded Shame, Shame, Shame.
Shame, shame, shame. Oh, shame on you.
Released in 1975, it became an international hit and proved Sylvia could see where the culture was heading long before anyone else. But even with hit records, the business was brutal. A distribution deal with Chess Records collapsed, leaving All Platinum with stacks of unsold vinyl and no way to get music into stores. By the late 1970s, cracks were showing. Artists complained of unpaid royalties, releases stalled, and All Platinum's once vibrant roster began to drift. From the outside, it looked like the end. But in reality, Sylvia was about to make the boldest gamble of her life. By the late 1970s, disco dominated the charts. R&B labels were struggling, and hip-hop was still a street phenomenon, born at block parties in the Bronx but not yet on record. Since 1973, DJs like Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash had been spreading the sound of hip-hop. But this was live culture, 2 turntables and a microphone. That changed in the summer of 1979. Sylvia Robinson found herself at a party where for the first time she heard an MC rapping over music. Talking about her son Joey, she stated, "Joey had hired some local DJs to provide music and they had this MC with them. Well, I had never even heard anyone rap before. I just thought it was fabulous, and I knew that minute that I had to put this new music onto a record." At the party, Lovebug Starsky was on the mic, rhyming over Chic's Good Times. It was the record every DJ was playing that summer.
Bunch of kids would take it over with boom boxes, or sometimes they'd even have a proper mobile DJ, and they would play the break to my song Good Times, and they would just rap and rap for hours and hours and hours. I had never seen anything like that.
For Sylvia, that was the spark. She saw a way to take the energy of those parties and put it onto a record. Next, all she needed was some MCs.
She went and auditioned Hank down at the pizza place where he worked. Hank closed the pizza shop early, and he jumped in her beautiful teal Oldsmobile 98, and he started to rap. Master G was walking down the street, walked up to the car and said, "Hey, what's going on?" Joey said, "We're gonna make a rap record." Guy jumped in the car. They go up to Mrs. Robinson's mansion. I go up there with my DJ. I said, "I can rap." She said, "I can't decide between the three. I'm gonna marry the three of you."
That was the birth of the Sugar Hill Gang. Within days, they were in the studio, recording over a live band replay of Good Times.
It was originally a 19-minute song, and we did it without stopping. We edited it down to 15 minutes, and we gave it to the radio stations. "Oh man, we can't play that." They put it on, and the phones blew up.
Others thought the idea was crazy, a rap record on vinyl, but Sylvia didn't waver.
I'm the type of person that never like to copy things that are out there. I always like to come with something new. And I felt as though if I came with a concept like this, either it was going to hit or it was going to miss. And I really felt strong that it was going to be a hit.
When Rapper's Delight dropped, it exploded.
What you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna...
Radio stations were flooded with calls. The single sold over 2 million copies. Rap, once confined to block parties, was suddenly a global phenomenon. By trusting her instincts, Sylvia Robinson pushed hip-hop into a new stratosphere. After the shockwaves of Rapper's Delight, Sylvia Robinson didn't stop. Sugar Hill wasn't just one record, it quickly grew into a full-blown label. She signed new acts, including The Sequence, the first female rap group to release a record.
And don't you give up. I keep going. I keep going. I keep going. Don't you give up.
Along with funky 4+1.
The sun won't shine, the rain won't stop. We got the style, you call punk rock. Let's get about to tell something.
Treacherous 3.
The land of funk, where the DJ grows. The rapper can try to perfect his show, cause it's the place to be.
And Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5. To back them, she built the Sugar House Band, a tight funk unit who gave the records their polished live feel.
She would produce, arrange, she would jump on that console and mix those records down. She came from live music and live instrumentation, and everything that she put on all of the records were all live instruments. So she knew how to EQ those things and make them right. She was a genius at what she did.
The first time, hip-hop was moving from block parties to big stages. Sugar Hill acts toured the country, performing in theatres and on television. What had once been a Bronx phenomenon was now national. But Sylvia wasn't content with party records alone. She was always looking for the next step. Sylvia later recalled, "After we recorded Flash's album, I said to Flash, I have a tune here that would make you bigger than anything. I played it to him and we recited the raps to him. Thing is, after that he kept calling me aside and he would say, Miss Rob, what would our fans think if we did a song like that? We do party songs." Flash refused, but Sylvia didn't back down. She took the idea to Melly Mel.
I didn't want to do the song. You know, we rapping about partying, we having a good time. I understood it, but I didn't think that it was going to work. Nobody thought that it was going to work. Miss Sylvia Robinson, she was the only one that believed in the song.
Written largely by Duke Booty and voiced by Melly Mel, the track was a stark portrait of urban struggle, a million miles from rapper's delight. And once again, Sylvia's perfectionism shaped the final sound.
We went in, we did the song. She kept it on the board for 3 days, 72 hours. She taped the board. She didn't want nobody to come in the studio. She wanted the mix to be perfect, perfectly perfect.
Released in 1982, the message was undeniable.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge.
It redefined what rap could be, not just party music, but social commentary.
When the song came out, I think it was in 1982, Planet Rock was the hottest record out. They was playing Planet Rock and they took it off and then they put the message on and it worked.
Sylvia would later explain, it was reality. At the time, everybody knew people living in the projects. When an artist writes a true story, that's what works for everybody, because that's what they can relate to. Right, time for a quick break before we move into Sylvia's legacy. I just wanted to let you know about my sample label Loop Kitchen, where we make soulful, nostalgic samples. Full compositions you can chop and flip for your beats. Right now, all of our packs are buy one, get one free if you use the code SECONDCOURSE at checkout. And if you just want to test the waters, we've got free packs you can grab too. We've also built a Discord for producers, beat makers, and music lovers. It's the perfect place to share beats, chat about music, get feedback, and to join our beat battles. And you can find the link for all of those in the description. By the mid-1980s, hip-hop was shifting. Def Jam, Run DMC, and a harder stripped-down sound were taking over.
It's tricky to rock around, that's right, on time is tricky.
Sugar Hill's polished live band style suddenly felt dated. Behind the scenes, lawsuits and royalty disputes piled up. By 1985, the Sugar Hill empire Sylvia had built was collapsing. But the impact she had on the genre as a whole will never be forgotten.
What she did was she made the right record at the right time. Timing is everything. But that's what she was good about because she did it before with Rapper's Delight. She made the right record at the right time. And to this day, those are still the top 2 records.
Sylvia Robinson does not get as much credit as she deserves. Sylvia was the first hip-hop mogul.
She would later be honored as the mother of hip-hop and inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And today her fingerprints are everywhere. In the samples, in the records, and in the very idea that rap could be a global force. Sylvia Robinson didn't just witness hip-hop's birth on record. She helped deliver it to the world.